Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends and dreamer, I want to begin by asking you all a simple but powerful question. How do you speak to yourself? We spend our entire lives hearing other people's opinions, their judgments, and their advice. But among all those voices, the one we hear the most is our own, the voice inside our head that speaks to us constantly. That voice is more powerful than we realize. You see, life is a journey, and every journey has its share of bumps, challenges, and uncertainties. But the biggest challenge often lies not in the obstacles we face, but in the way we perceive ourselves when those obstacles appear. When the world tells us you can't, you're not good enough, or you're not capable, it becomes easy to start believing it. But what if I told you that the most important thing we can change is the way we talk to ourselves? Positive self-talk is not just a nice to have, it's a necessity. We often think that success or happiness is out there somewhere, something we can only achieve if the stars align or the world changes. But the truth is, the most powerful tool we have for change is inside us, our own minds. The way we talk to ourselves shapes how we experience the world. If we constantly tell ourselves we're not enough, we'll never believe we are capable of achieving our dreams. But when we change that narrative, when we choose to speak words of encouragement, belief, and strength to ourselves, we open the door to endless possibilities. Imagine for a moment that you're a friend to yourself. Would you talk to yourself the way you talk to others? Would you tell yourself you're worthless, or would you encourage yourself with kindness, with understanding, with love? Often the voice in our head is our harshest critic. We forget that we have the power to change that voice into one that motivates, supports, and uplifts us. Positive self-talk is not about pretending things are perfect when they're not. It's about acknowledging the challenges but choosing to believe that we can rise above them. It's about replacing the words I can't with I can, and more importantly, I will. It's about shifting from I'm not enough to I am enough just as I am. And here's the secret: positive self-talk doesn't mean we'll never fail or that we'll always feel confident. It simply means that even when we fall, we get up again with a mindset that believes in progress, not perfection. We recognize that every setback is a lesson, every mistake is an opportunity to grow, and every moment is a chance to begin again. One of the most important things to remember is this: our inner dialogue determines our outer reality. If we constantly tell ourselves we are weak, we will remain weak. If we tell ourselves we are strong, we will find strength in places we never thought possible. Our minds are incredibly powerful. They can either imprison us or free us. It's up to us to choose. We are our own greatest allies. We can either allow ourselves to be our worst critics or our biggest supporters. And the moment we start speaking to ourselves with kindness, with patience, and with belief, we will start to see the magic unfold in our lives. So today I challenge you: listen to the voice inside your head. If it's negative, replace it with something positive. If it's doubtful, replace it with belief. If it's harsh, replace it with compassion. Because when we speak to ourselves with love, the world around us begins to mirror that love. Believe in yourself. You are capable. You are enough. You are powerful beyond measure. The way we speak to ourselves is one of the most powerful forces in shaping our lives. Every day we engage in a constant stream of internal dialogue, some of which is conscious and much of it happens automatically. What many don't realize is that the voice inside our heads can either lift us up or hold us back. The narrative we create for ourselves has the ability to transform our world, influence our emotions, and determine our actions. In fact, it might just be the most influential voice we hear in our lifetime. When we talk about the power of self-talk, it's essential to understand that it's not just a matter of words. The way we think about ourselves directly affects how we behave, how we interact with others, and how we see the world. Whether we realize it or not, every thought we have sends a message to our subconscious mind, and that message influences our self-esteem, our confidence, and even our sense of worth. If we tell ourselves that we're not good enough, we begin to internalize that belief. If we constantly remind ourselves of our weaknesses or mistakes, we will develop a self-image based on those thoughts. On the other hand, when we practice positive self-talk, we open the door to growth, healing, and achievement. Our self-talk influences the way we perceive challenges. Life, by its very nature, is filled with obstacles and difficulties. But how we approach those obstacles is shaped by the story we tell ourselves about who we are. If we constantly reinforce the idea that we're incapable of overcoming challenges, we're setting ourselves up for failure. But if we shift our thinking to recognize our resilience, our strength, and our ability to learn from setbacks, we empower ourselves to face challenges head on. The difference between a person who crumbles under pressure and one who rises to the occasion often lies in the way they talk to themselves. Take, for example, the simple act of setting goals. The language we use when setting our goals reflects how we believe we can achieve them. If we say to ourselves, "I want to try to do this, but I'm probably going to fail," then we're already planting the seed of doubt. We've set ourselves up for failure before even taking the first step. However, if we approach the same goal with the mindset that I will give my best effort, and even if I fail, I will learn and grow from it, we're allowing room for both success and failure to be part of our journey. The difference is not the outcome, but the approach, and this approach is influenced directly by our inner dialogue. It's important to recognize that our inner dialogue is not static. It's not something that is set in stone the moment we start speaking to ourselves. Just like any other habit, it can be changed, improved, or transformed. The beauty of self-talk is that we have the ability to control it. We are not victims to our own thoughts, we are the architects of them. If we've been conditioned to speak negatively to ourselves, we can break that cycle and create a new narrative. It requires conscious effort and consistent practice, but with time, our inner voice can become one that encourages us, inspires us, and reminds us of our potential. One of the most powerful tools for changing our self-talk is awareness. The first step is simply becoming aware of the thoughts that pass through our minds. Often, we don't realize how negative or self-critical our internal dialogue can be. We're so used to it that it becomes a part of our everyday experience. But by paying attention to our thoughts, we can start to notice patterns of doubt, fear, or self-criticism. Once we identify these negative thought patterns, we can challenge them. We can ask ourselves, is this thought true? Is it helpful? Is it aligned with the person I want to become? By questioning these thoughts, we can begin to replace them with healthier, more empowering beliefs. Another critical aspect of self-talk is the way we speak to ourselves during difficult moments. When things aren't going well, it's easy to fall into the trap of self-blame or negative thinking. We might tell ourselves, "I'm a failure," or "I'll never get it right." But this kind of thinking is counterproductive. Instead of allowing setbacks to define us, we can use them as opportunities to practice compassion and patience with ourselves. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," we can say, "This is hard, but I'm capable of handling it." In doing so, we create space for resilience and determination to grow. Positive self-talk doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending that challenges don't exist. It's about choosing to view challenges through a lens of possibility rather than defeat. Life is full of ups and downs, but our internal narrative can either amplify the negativity or help us find a way through the storm. A key part of this is acknowledging our emotions without allowing them to dictate our actions. When we feel overwhelmed, it's okay to acknowledge that feeling, but we don't need to let it control our thoughts. We can choose to respond with kindness and understanding toward ourselves, knowing that we have the strength to navigate through tough times. There's also a strong connection between self-talk and self-esteem. How we talk to ourselves influences how we see ourselves. If we constantly criticize ourselves, we start to internalize those criticisms, which can lead to feelings of inadequacy or low self-worth. On the other hand, when we practice self-compassion and offer ourselves words of encouragement, we begin to build a healthier self-image. The more we affirm our own value, the more we start to believe in our worth. Self-esteem isn't something that comes from external validation, it comes from the way we validate ourselves through our thoughts and beliefs. One of the most empowering aspects of positive self-talk is its ability to shift our perspective on failure. Failure is often seen as something to be avoided at all costs, but the reality is that failure is an inevitable part of life and growth. The key is not to see failure as a reflection of our worth, but as a learning experience. When we tell ourselves failure is part of the process, and I can learn from it, we take away the shame and fear associated with failure. Instead, we can view it as an opportunity to grow stronger, smarter, and more resilient. Our self-talk can shift from "I failed, therefore I am a failure" to "I tried, and I'm better for it." The influence of self-talk extends beyond individual experiences. It also plays a significant role in our relationships with others. The way we speak to ourselves affects how we interact with those around us. If we're constantly critical of ourselves, we may project that negativity onto others. But when we practice positive self-talk, we become more confident, more patient, and more compassionate with others. Our self-talk doesn't just shape how we feel about ourselves, it also shapes how we show up in the world and how we treat those we care about. When we commit to nurturing a positive and supportive inner dialogue, we start to notice a shift in our external reality. We begin to approach challenges with a sense of calm and confidence. We become more open to new opportunities because we no longer fear failure. We take risks, try new things, and believe in our ability to succeed. And even when things don't go as planned, we have the inner strength to persevere, knowing that our worth is not defined by our achievements or mistakes, but by our capacity to love and believe in ourselves. It's not enough to simply wish for positive self-talk. It requires active participation, practice, and intention. It requires a commitment to transforming our thoughts, one word at a time. The more we practice positive self-talk, the more it becomes a natural part of our thought patterns. Over time, we develop a mindset that sees possibility, embraces challenges, and acknowledges our inherent worth. The voice inside our heads can either be a source of empowerment or a source of limitation. We have the choice to change the script, to rewrite the story, and to create a narrative that serves us rather than holds us back. The voice inside our heads is powerful. It can shape our experiences, influence our actions, and ultimately determine our future. If we want to create a life of possibility, growth, and success, we must start with the way we speak to ourselves. By embracing the power of positive self-talk, we can unlock our full potential, overcome obstacles, and live a life that is true to our deepest values and dreams. Failure is often viewed as something to be feared or avoided, yet it is one of the most significant catalysts for growth and personal development. Many of us are taught to perceive failure as a negative experience, something to be ashamed of, or something that marks the end of our efforts. However, failure is not the opposite of success, rather, it is an integral part of the journey towards success. Embracing failure as a learning opportunity is crucial for developing resilience, acquiring new skills, and ultimately achieving our goals. The way we view failure and respond to it can determine whether we allow it to define us or whether we use it as a stepping stone toward progress. When we experience failure, it's easy to fall into a trap of self-doubt, feeling as if we are not good enough or that we are incapable of achieving our goals. This type of thinking can lead to a fear of trying again or taking risks, and it can hold us back from reaching our potential. But the key to overcoming this fear is to reframe how we perceive failure. Instead of viewing it as a reflection of our worth or a sign that we are inadequate, we can choose to see it as a natural part of the learning process. Failure is simply feedback, showing us where we need to adjust, improve, or try a different approach. It doesn't define who we are as individuals or determine our value. It is merely a temporary setback on the road to success. One of the most important aspects of embracing failure is understanding that it is not permanent. Failure does not mean that we will never succeed or that we are doomed to fail forever. Every successful person has faced setbacks, rejections, and failures along the way. What separates those who ultimately succeed from those who give up is their ability to learn from those experiences and keep moving forward. Failure is not the end of the story, it's simply a chapter in the ongoing process of growth. Each failure provides us with valuable lessons, insights, and experiences that can help us adjust our approach, refine our skills, and make better decisions in the future. The fear of failure often stems from perfectionism, the belief that we must succeed at everything we do without making mistakes. Perfectionism can be paralyzing, as it prevents us from taking risks or stepping out of our comfort zone. But perfectionism is an unrealistic standard that holds us back from experiencing true growth. No one is perfect, and trying to be perfect only sets us up for frustration and disappointment. Instead of aiming for perfection, we can focus on progress. The goal should be to take consistent steps forward, learning and improving along the way, rather than avoiding failure at all costs. This mindset shift allows us to see failure as an opportunity for improvement, not as a roadblock. When we fail, it's important to allow ourselves to feel disappointed or frustrated, but we must not dwell on those emotions for too long. It's natural to feel upset when things don't go as planned, but staying stuck in those negative feelings prevents us from moving forward. Rather than beating ourselves up or engaging in self-criticism, we can choose to practice self-compassion. Treating ourselves with kindness in moments of failure helps to build resilience and keeps us focused on the bigger picture. Instead of saying, I failed, so I'm not good enough, we can say, I didn't succeed this time, but that doesn't mean I can't try again or find a different way. Failure also presents us with the chance to develop problem-solving skills. When things don't go as planned, we are forced to evaluate the situation, assess what went wrong, and determine how to adjust our approach. This process of critical thinking and reflection builds resilience and helps us become more adaptable. The ability to adapt and find solutions in the face of failure is a key skill in both personal and professional life. Each time we fail and learn from it, we become more equipped to handle future challenges with confidence and resourcefulness. It's also important to remember that failure is often a temporary setback, not a permanent state. Just because something didn't work out the first time doesn't mean it won't work out eventually. Many successful people experience numerous failures before achieving their goals. Thomas Edison famously said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work, highlighting the fact that failure is an essential part of the process of discovery and innovation. If we allow ourselves to view failure as a temporary hurdle rather than a permanent obstacle, we can maintain our motivation and keep striving toward our goals. Another crucial aspect of embracing failure is the ability to fail forward. Failing forward means using each failure as a learning experience and a chance to move closer to success. Rather than being discouraged by setbacks, we can use them as fuel for our next attempt. When we fail forward, we acknowledge that each failure brings us one step closer to our goal. We recognize that every attempt, whether successful or not, brings valuable experience and insight that we can apply moving forward. Failing forward is about staying committed to the journey, no matter how many times we encounter obstacles. The fear of failure often leads to avoidance, but avoiding failure altogether is not a path to growth. Growth comes from stepping out of our comfort zone and taking risks. Failure may be uncomfortable, but it is also a necessary part of becoming better at what we do. Without failure, we would never know our limits or discover new ways to improve. We would be stuck in a cycle of complacency, never challenging ourselves or expanding our abilities. By embracing failure, we create opportunities for innovation, personal growth, and success. When we embrace failure as a part of the process, we give ourselves the permission to take risks and pursue our dreams without fear of falling short. We allow ourselves to fail and, in the process, learn, grow, and eventually succeed. This mindset shift empowers us to overcome the fear of failure, step out of our comfort zones, and reach for our goals with confidence. Failure is not something to be feared or avoided. It is a tool for growth, an opportunity to learn, and a necessary part of achieving success. By embracing failure, we empower ourselves to keep moving forward, knowing that each setback brings us closer to the success we desire. Gratitude is one of the most powerful emotions we can experience, and yet it is often overlooked in the hustle and bustle of our daily lives. We tend to focus on what we don't have or what we wish we could change, rather than appreciating the blessings we already have. Practicing gratitude is not just about saying thank you for the good things that come our way. It's about cultivating a mindset that actively looks for the positive aspects in our lives, no matter how small. When we take the time to acknowledge and appreciate what we have, we open ourselves up to greater joy, peace, and fulfillment. Gratitude has the power to shift our perspective. Often when we are faced with challenges, we can become consumed by the negativity of the situation. We focus on the problems, the difficulties, and the things that are going wrong. However, when we practice gratitude, we intentionally redirect our focus. We choose to look at what's going well, the things that we can be thankful for, even in difficult times. This shift in focus doesn't mean ignoring our challenges or pretending that everything is perfect. It simply means recognizing that there are always positive aspects in our lives, even amidst the struggle. When we start to see the world through a lens of gratitude, we begin to realize that there is always something to appreciate. One of the most transformative effects of gratitude is its ability to improve our mental health. When we are grateful, we train our brains to focus on the positive rather than the negative. This practice can help reduce feelings of stress, anxiety, and depression. Studies have shown that people who regularly practice gratitude experience increased levels of happiness, lower levels of stress, and greater overall well-being. Gratitude helps us to reframe our thoughts, moving away from worry and negativity and instead cultivating an attitude of appreciation and contentment. By focusing on the things that are going right, we feel more grounded, less overwhelmed, and more at peace with ourselves and our circumstances. Gratitude also strengthens our relationships. When we express gratitude toward others, we create a positive feedback loop that deepens our connection with them. Taking the time to thank someone for their support, kindness, or love not only makes them feel appreciated, but also reinforces our bond with them. Gratitude fosters empathy and kindness, which are essential elements of strong, healthy relationships. By regularly expressing appreciation, we nurture a sense of mutual respect and care, which helps to strengthen the foundation of our connections with others. In addition, practicing gratitude can increase our resilience. Life is full of ups and downs, and it's easy to feel defeated when we face setbacks or disappointments. However, when we have a gratitude practice in place, we are better equipped to cope with adversity. Gratitude helps us maintain perspective, reminding us of the positive things that remain even in difficult times. By focusing on what we have, rather than what we lack, we cultivate a sense of inner strength that allows us to navigate challenges with greater ease. Gratitude helps us to stay grounded, to persevere in the face of obstacles, and to bounce back from setbacks with a renewed sense of hope. Another important benefit of gratitude is that it helps us become more present in the moment. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the future, constantly planning for what's next or dwelling on the past, replaying old mistakes or regrets. However, gratitude brings us back to the here and now. When we take the time to appreciate what we have, we become more mindful and attuned to our present circumstances. We become more aware of the little moments that make life beautiful: the warmth of the sun on our skin, the laughter of loved ones, the simple pleasure of a warm meal. By focusing on the present, we learn to savor life as it is, rather than always chasing after something more. Gratitude also encourages us to embrace abundance. Often we view the world through a lens of scarcity, believing that there is not enough to go around, whether it's love, success, or happiness. This scarcity mindset can lead to feelings of jealousy, comparison, and fear. But when we practice gratitude, we open ourselves up to the abundance that surrounds us. We begin to see that there is enough love, enough joy, and enough opportunity for everyone. Gratitude helps us to appreciate what we already have and to recognize that there is plenty to be thankful for, even when things may seem scarce. Moreover, gratitude helps us to be more kind to ourselves. We often overlook our own efforts and accomplishments, focusing instead on what we haven't done or what we still need to achieve. However, by practicing gratitude for our own achievements, we learn to celebrate ourselves and our progress. Acknowledging our strengths, talents, and the work we've put in helps to boost our self-esteem and self-worth. Gratitude allows us to be more compassionate with ourselves, to recognize the good within us, and to honor the journey we're on. Instead of harshly criticizing ourselves for our perceived shortcomings, we can learn to appreciate ourselves for how far we've come and the positive qualities we possess. It's also important to remember that gratitude is a practice that requires consistency. It's not something we do once and then forget about. Just like any other habit, gratitude requires intentional effort. It can be helpful to create a daily practice, such as keeping a gratitude journal where you write down a few things you're thankful for each day. This simple practice helps to train your brain to focus on the positive and encourages a shift in your mindset. It's easy to take things for granted, but by actively practicing gratitude, we become more attuned to the many blessings in our lives. Being a friend to yourself is one of the most transformative things you can do for your personal growth and well-being. Often we are our own harshest critics. The voice inside our head can be unrelenting in its judgment, magnifying our flaws and shortcomings. But just as we would offer kindness, understanding, and support to a friend in need, we must extend the same compassion to ourselves. The way we treat ourselves directly influences how we experience the world around us, and it shapes our capacity to handle life's challenges. Self-compassion is not about excusing or ignoring our mistakes or flaws. It's about acknowledging them with kindness instead of harshness. It's easy to fall into the trap of self-criticism, especially when we encounter failure or make a mistake. Many of us are conditioned to believe that being hard on ourselves will motivate us to do better. But more often than not, it leads to feelings of shame, guilt, and inadequacy. It builds walls between us and the people around us because we're too busy beating ourselves up to be present or supportive for others. When we speak to ourselves with compassion, we allow ourselves the grace to be imperfect, to struggle, and to grow. It's about recognizing that we are human, and part of being human is facing challenges, making mistakes, and learning from them. Imagine how much easier it would be to recover from a setback if we could speak to ourselves the way we would speak to a close friend who is going through a tough time. Would we criticize them mercilessly? Or would we remind them of their worth and potential, offering encouragement and a reminder that they can overcome whatever they are facing? Too often we forget that we are allowed to be kind to ourselves. We're quick to forgive others, but when it comes to ourselves, we tend to be much less forgiving. This harsh inner dialogue can stem from unrealistic expectations or a fear of failure, but it's important to realize that no one is perfect. Even the most successful people have faced setbacks, challenges, and failures. And what differentiates those who thrive from those who don't is how they treat themselves in the face of adversity. Treating yourself as a friend means practicing self-acceptance. It's about recognizing that you are enough just as you are, flaws and all. Self-compassion isn't about avoiding responsibility or not striving to improve. It's about acknowledging that we don't need to be perfect to be worthy of love and respect from both ourselves and others. Self-compassion means that even in our moments of struggle, we hold ourselves with understanding, not judgment. One key element of being a friend to yourself is speaking to yourself with kindness. It might seem simple, but the words we use with ourselves can have a profound impact. When we tell ourselves we're not good enough, we reinforce a negative self-image. But when we speak words of encouragement, we begin to shift our mindset from one of limitation to one of possibility. Imagine telling yourself, I am doing the best I can. And that's enough. That small change in language can make all the difference in how we perceive ourselves. Another important aspect of being a friend to yourself is giving yourself permission to rest and recharge. In a society that often values productivity above all else, we can easily fall into the trap of pushing ourselves beyond our limits. We may feel that if we're not constantly working or achieving, we're not worthy. But true self-compassion means recognizing when we need to take a step back and care for our mental, emotional, and physical health. Just as a friend would encourage you to rest and take care of yourself, you must do the same for yourself. Being a friend to yourself also means forgiving yourself. We all make mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes are big. We might fail, fall short of our goals, or hurt someone unintentionally. But harboring guilt or shame only prolongs our suffering and prevents us from moving forward. When we treat ourselves as a friend, we offer ourselves the grace to make amends, learn from our mistakes, and then let go of the burden of self-blame. Self-forgiveness is a crucial step in freeing ourselves from the past and embracing the future with hope and possibility. It's also important to remember that being a friend to yourself doesn't mean being complacent. Being compassionate with yourself doesn't mean letting yourself off the hook for things you need to work on or improve. It means setting goals, working toward your dreams, and holding yourself accountable while also being gentle with yourself in the process. Self-compassion encourages you to keep moving forward, even when things get difficult. It's the understanding that you're doing your best, and that's enough. It's about creating an environment where you can thrive, rather than one where you constantly feel you're falling short. Sometimes being a friend to yourself requires setting boundaries and standing up for yourself. Just as a good friend would advocate for you when needed, you need to be your own advocate. This means protecting your time, energy, and mental health. It means saying no to things that drain you and saying yes to things that nurture your well-being. It might mean stepping away from toxic relationships or situations that don't serve you. In this way, being a friend to yourself also involves making choices that honor your needs and values. In addition, self-compassion involves practicing patience. Just as we don't expect our friends to be perfect, we should not expect perfection from ourselves. Growth takes time, and learning new skills or breaking old habits is a process. The path to self-improvement is not a straight line. It's filled with detours, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But when we treat ourselves with the same patience we would show a close friend, we create the space needed for personal development and change. Being a friend to yourself also means celebrating your successes, no matter how small they may seem. Often we are quick to downplay our achievements, brushing them off as no big deal. But acknowledging and celebrating your victories, both big and small, is an important part of self-compassion. When you celebrate your successes, you remind yourself that you are capable, strong, and worthy of recognition. This fosters a sense of accomplishment and motivates you to keep going, even when things are tough. In essence, being a friend to yourself is about treating yourself with the same love, care, and respect that you would offer to those you love most. It's about cultivating a relationship with yourself that is rooted in kindness, understanding, and acceptance. The more we practice self-compassion, the more we learn to embrace ourselves fully, flaws and all. And when we can do that, we become more resilient, more confident, and more capable of navigating the ups and downs of life with grace and strength. Positive affirmations have a profound impact on the way we see ourselves and the world around us. These are statements that we repeat to ourselves, reinforcing beliefs that encourage a positive mindset and foster self-confidence. The beauty of positive affirmations is that they have the power to reshape our thought patterns, helping us move from a place of doubt and insecurity to one of belief and possibility. When used consistently, affirmations can gradually transform our internal narrative, shifting the way we perceive challenges and opportunities in our lives. When we practice positive affirmations, we consciously challenge those negative beliefs. By repeating affirmations such as "I am capable," "I am worthy of success," and "I believe in myself," we begin to counteract the negativity that might be lurking in our subconscious minds. Each repetition serves as a reminder that we are deserving of happiness, success, and love. Over time, these affirmations help to reprogram our subconscious mind, slowly replacing limiting thoughts with ones that empower and uplift us. The power of positive affirmations lies in their ability to shift our focus. Often, when we face challenges or setbacks, our minds tend to focus on the problem rather than the solution. We might think about everything that could go wrong or all the reasons why we might fail. But by using affirmations, we change our focus from what we lack to what we already possess. Instead of fixating on limitations, we begin to focus on our strengths, our abilities, and our potential. This shift in focus allows us to approach challenges with a sense of confidence and hope, rather than fear and doubt. Positive affirmations also play a critical role in building self-esteem. For many people, low self-esteem is a significant barrier to personal growth and success. When we don't believe in ourselves, it becomes difficult to take risks, pursue our goals, or put ourselves out there. We may feel unworthy of success or love, which can prevent us from fully embracing opportunities that come our way. Positive affirmations, however, help to affirm our worth and remind us of our inherent value. By consistently affirming our strengths and potential, we begin to internalize those beliefs and build a stronger sense of self-esteem. Another key benefit of affirmations is that they foster a growth mindset. People with a growth mindset believe that their abilities and intelligence can be developed through hard work, perseverance, and learning. They view challenges as opportunities to grow rather than as signs of failure. Positive affirmations can help cultivate this mindset by reminding us that we are capable of learning and improving. Phrases like "I am always growing," "I can overcome obstacles," and "every challenge is an opportunity for growth" reinforce the idea that success is not about being perfect from the start, but about learning and evolving along the way. One of the most effective ways to use affirmations is to make them specific and personal. Instead of using generic statements like "I am successful," consider creating affirmations that speak directly to your unique goals and aspirations. For example, if you're working toward a career goal, an affirmation like "I am confident in my skills and abilities" can serve as a powerful reminder of your competence. If you're trying to build better relationships, you might affirm "I am deserving of love and respect," or "I attract positive and supportive people into my life." When affirmations are tailored to your specific desires, they become more meaningful and impactful, allowing you to connect with them on a deeper level. Visualization is another powerful tool that can enhance the effectiveness of affirmations. When we visualize our goals or desires while repeating affirmations, we create a mental image of success. This visualization reinforces our belief in the possibility of achieving our goals. For example, if you are working toward a fitness goal, you might visualize yourself completing a workout while repeating the affirmation, I am strong, healthy, and capable. This combination of mental imagery and positive affirmation helps to solidify the belief that your goals are attainable, boosting your confidence and motivation to take action. Affirmations also have a ripple effect on our emotional well-being. When we speak positively to ourselves, we create an atmosphere of self-love and acceptance. This can lead to improved mental health, reduced stress, and a greater sense of inner peace. By replacing self-criticism with self-compassion, we begin to develop a healthier relationship with ourselves. This positive self-talk can spill over into our interactions with others, making us more empathetic, understanding, and supportive.